News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. There's your closing bell for this Thursday on Wall Street, where a blistering run in stocks actually hit a wall as a pickup in inflation lifted bond yields. Traders not so sure what the Fed will cut interest rates next month. More on that just ahead. But first, we do bring you closing numbers. We do this each day here at Bloomberg. The S&P 500 gained 2 points. NASDAQ lost 2.5 points. The Dow down 11 points. The 10-year Treasury yield at 4.28%. The 2-year yield at 3.73%. The Trump administration is in talks with Intel to have the U.S. government potentially take a stake in the beleaguered chipmaker, helping support that company's effort to expand domestic manufacturing. Sources tell Bloomberg the deal would shore up Intel's planned factory hub in Ohio. Shares of Intel now in the post market after hours trading up 1.5%. Investors are dialing back bets on a rate cut next month after data show wholesale inflation rose the most in 3 years last month. Producer prices in July rose 3.3% from a year ago. Economists surveyed by Bloomberg were looking for 2.5%. Ira Jersey is chief U.S. rate strategist at Bloomberg Intelligence.
You had this big shift towards services increasing, in particular trade. So some of that could be from, import prices. If you think about the pass through from shipping and things like that are going to be tariffed. So maybe this is suggesting that there might be a little bit of margin contraction.
Ira Jersey with Bloomberg Intelligence. In world news, President Trump is downplaying expectations for a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine during tomorrow's summit in Alaska. Trump told Fox Radio he sees a 25% chance that the summit won't be successful and that they'll make a deal and divvy things up at a second meeting. He says that will be the important one.
We're going to have a meeting with President Putin, President Zelensky, myself, and maybe we'll bring some of the European leaders along, maybe not. I don't know that it's going to be very important. We're going to see what happens.
That meeting has not been set. And in the Oval Office, President Trump was asked if he is prepared to offer Vladimir Putin access to rare minerals to incentivize him to end the war in Ukraine.
We're going to see what happens with our meeting. We have a big meeting, and it's going to be I think very important for Russia, and it's going to be very important for us, and important for us only that we're going to save a lot of lives.
Russian President Vladimir Putin signaled his intention to start work on a new arms control treaty with the U.S. Analysts say Putin's aim is to divorce the issue of war in Ukraine from any strategic and economic bilateral relations. President Trump has threatened more sanctions on Russia and secondary sanctions on those who do business with Russia, especially in the energy and oil markets. Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy tells Bloomberg he supports such measures.
Personally, I think that is a tool that could be applied. When you look at what's really happening in the world, it's interesting because many European countries are advocating for a tough stance against Russia, yet at the same time, they're buying oil and gas from Russia, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Dunleavy says additional sanctions on Russia will likely help Alaska's energy markets in the short run. You can hear more from Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy on the Balance of Power podcast. Cisco Systems shares closed down the most in more than 16 weeks, losing about 1.5% after the maker of networking equipment reported earnings that were largely in line with expectations. The company gave a cautious forecast for the current fiscal year. Cisco chairman and CEO Chuck Robbins.
We're going to have to do security in the network. There is no other alternative. You cannot introduce latency by sending it to a security appliance. And we are the only company that has both networking and security technology to fuse it together.
Hear more of our interview with Cisco CEO Chuck Robbins on the Bloomberg Talks podcast. Washington, D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith is ordering an increase in cooperation between local officers and federal immigration agents after President Trump's security crackdown put the district's police force under the command of the administration. Now, the order allows MPD officers to share information with immigration agencies regarding people not in custody, like somebody stopped at a traffic stop or a checkpoint. They can also involve transportation for federal officers and their detainees. These changes are effective immediately. California Governor Gavin Newsom is calling for a November 4th special election on new House maps designed to win more Democratic seats. His move is in response to Republican efforts to pick up 5 seats in Texas. Newsom released a campaign ad on social media as Democrats kicked off a press conference. State lawmakers technically need to declare the special election. They say they'll do it next week. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Amy Morris. This is Bloomberg.